nuclear sub. So they're just showing us what it feels to we're supplying the weapons and missiles over there that are getting launched into you know Russia. So they're just kind of showing us how do you like it now? How you like that feeling?
Technically, isn't that also an act of war?
Their military exercises. They drove by like 50 feet, or 60 miles from like Florida.
No, I
Whenever
mean
they went
because
there.
a while back, Biden approved for Ukraine to start launching weapons that we give them into Russia.
Yeah,
Isn't that considered an act of war?
it's sure not a good thing.
I think they could have done that with or without our permission once we give them the supplies. So we're not launching them. So I guess that's the technical portion of it. We're not launching them from anything of ours. It's coming from the Ukraine by Ukrainians. So
Weird.
It's not like we have soldiers over there to launch those munitions or anything like that. So I guess it's down to technicality.
Huh.
Oh, I definitely was just having some fun with JB's weight. I don't think.
I can't. You mean that fat fucking fairy? I can't stand JB. I cannot. I don't get political, but that sub bitch I hate.
I happen to be a fat man. So,
the next president.
Okay, look. Here's the thing, Rob. You're
yeah,
fat.
see my belly under here.
You're fat in a good way. JB is fat, as in he's full of shit. So
yeah, I'm not making fun of anybody because of their weight. That's for sure. Ever. I'm making fun of JB in general just because I think he's a little turd.
I'll make fun of JB Prisker for a Klondike bar. Shit, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. I'm not very easily offended, so I say I'm an old guy. I say not the right term sometimes. If you're easily offended, this might not be the show for you because I'm say some stupid shit sometimes. I apologize in advance. We don't have any advertisers to apologize for, so we're kind of wide open.
Tonight's show is sponsored in part by Never Mind.
Nope, they pulled it. All right.
But yeah, I didn't mean to offend anybody. That's for sure. If I did, I apologize. So anyway, hi Amanda. Amanda's popping in the show. There we go.
It's her birthday today too.
Who is this lovely lady she's sitting with? Is that her grandmother or something?
I thought it. Oh yeah, that's right. It is Amanda's birthday.
They both have sashes on of some kind. Okay, cool. All right. You forget we see your little picture when we pop you on the internet. Sorry. So, all right. So we're just getting ready to talk about some, enough with boring politics. Unless you guys had anything else to add about the performance of Joe.
I saw
versus Don.
I was flipping through the TV the other day.
The Don.
And at first I thought, oh, grumpier old man. Okay, it's good. I like this. Turns out it's a near debate. I'm sorry.
Boom. I thought it was the Muppets for a minute. Like, the two old men on the Muppets.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
We're always like,
to all of our liberal listeners and liberal friends, I don't get political. I think they both suck, but y'all better check on your boy. He looked horrible. He sounded horrible. Oh, my God.
Who's in charge of this country, Tyler? That's what I want to know. He's not.
I heard the reason they didn't show Biden get on or off the stage was because he needed assistance to get on and off the stage.
There's a thing. He when he first walks up on the stage, he walks up, he looks around, and he points like, "Am I supposed to go there?" And then he goes there. And then after the debate, Jill Biden comes up, takes him by the hand, and is like, "Okay, let's go. You earned your chocolate chip ice cream." It's like, wow.
Jill's his doctor.
Yeah, Jill Biden's his doctor too. It's like
his nurse.
it's like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who are liberals. You know, I know Ray Lytle. He's a big liberal. He loves Joe Biden, but y'all better check on your boy. Y'all better check on your boy.
I think our choice needs to be neither of these two.
Amen. Amen.
Nice.
But,
Although
Amanda said that was her grandma. Happy birthday to her grandma too. Definitely.
I
vote
did.
Hulu 2024.
I did
Don't
see.
why vote for a lesser evil. I mean, might as well just go all in.
Will Height 2024 can't do any worse.
That's right.
Although I did
That's
see
her best choice at this point.
This was interesting, and I don't know. I'll look the article up here in a minute since we're talking about this. But a few hours before the debate, it actually broke on a couple news outlets that apparently, and I had to look this up to confirm it. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm sending links out to people so they can watch the show.
Cool.
Some of the files that reportedly Trump had in Mar-a-Lago might have had something to do with UFOs. That's what. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up. Trump files, and supposedly he was talking. Okay, here we go. This comes from Newsweek. Trump claims he has access to UFO files, and that was what was in Mar-a-Lago. The former president, appearing on Logan Paul, which I'm not a big Logan Paul fan, Impulsive podcast, was asked what files or documents he was privy to on the UFO UAP. And Trump's conversation comes amid heightened interest, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to where Trump talks about it. Trump mentioned, I have met people that are serious, people that said they've seen some really strange things that are flying around out there. And I had some very interesting documents. Had was the key word, which probably means it was taken from Mar-a-Lago, that talked about a lot of other things that people haven't seen nor heard of in regards to the UFO UAP phenomenon.
Okay, guys, this just in from Julie. I'm sending it into the group chat about a possible person who's running for president. Alice Cooper launches 2024 presidential campaign.
What?
On his website. I am a troubled man for troubled times. It is on Alice Cooper's website.
No.
Yes, it is.
Hey, it's up for grabs at this point. Is he a Democrat? Is he a Democrat?
What's he running under? What? I'm looking
Alice
here.
Cooper can just run as a human.
I'm looking.
Independent.
Says he's running as an independent, or as he's calling it, the Wild Party. Nice.
I'm a member of that. Wow.
How old is Alice Cooper? How old is he?
He's got to be up there.
Yeah, but he looks like he's in better shape than the two guys running right now.
Yeah, even all the drugs and alcohol he's consumed in his life has probably preserved him.
And does he know how to use stairs? That makes him better than both candidates.
Well, the picture he has on his page, he has a walking cane, and he's got looks like a boa constrictor or a ball python around his neck. You know what? I don't think stairs is a problem for this man.
Yep.
Not one bit. This man has stairs.
That's amazing. Vote for Alice Cooper, everybody.
Vote for Alice Cooper. I will laugh my ass off if he gets into the next presidential debate.
Yeah, Weird Frequencies can get behind Alice Cooper.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
I can think of a lot of podcasts.
I endorse Alice Cooper officially. That's what I'm just
not
throwing
just
that out
here,
there.
in Central Illinois, but all over. I'm sure can get behind that.
Yeah. Unless he's some weird racist like Ted Nugent or something. But other than that.
The thing about this election is it's like there's nobody really worth. I mean, okay, you have Trump. I don't care. Biden. I don't care. Kennedy's not getting the motivation. Plus, he's Kennedy. His reputation's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
There's just nobody that's
That
more.
dude, when he talked, he sounded like a frog. I think that would be
He
hard
sounds
for
like
him to run.
he
He
sounds
was like,
like
"Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm RFK," and you're like, "What?"
he sounds like a legitimate James Bond villain.
Yeah, he does. I tried to listen to the debate a little bit on the way home on the radio, and I had to turn it up really loud to understand Joe too. Like, so I kept turning it up and down, up and down. He had a stroke recently. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm not making fun of him.
Oh, so
I'm just saying you couldn't understand the man, and he you have to be a good speaker, I mean, you have to have a commanding voice you got to be a good speaker to work in retail and sell vapes at my vape shop,
Bring it up. If Biden happens to win, how long is he really expected to be in office before he's unalive?
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy's 81 years old. He's gonna be 82 during the election. He literally is the oldest serving president we've ever had, and I don't know. I think his age is really. If people were concerned about his age back then, they'll be concerned now. I mean,
how isn't Trump's only a couple years behind him, though, right?
Trump's
Isn't
like 70. I want to Google it.
he? 70 something.
They're both over 80. I think Trump is 80. I think Biden's like 82.
Trump is 78 years old. What's up, Cooley?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, Cooley?
Well, I saw Ace Frehley last night. He's 72, and he was killing it. He was running all over the place and still remembering all those solos, and but he's not running the country.
What's up, Casey?
I think it comes down to like once you get to that age, like Trump and Biden are at, it is kind of like just one bad cold or one fall, or I'm not saying fall to make fun of Biden, but you're one bad day away from going downhill, we'll say.
Right.
Where your health just starts to drop. Because we've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with my grandparents and all that stuff, and it sadly happens.
Don't be making fun of old people now.
Oh, I would not know.
I mean,
this show, we wouldn't. That's bullying people. We don't pick on anybody. We don't believe in bullying people. That's for sure.
Listen, we talk about facts primarily, like about how Biden was in China and what he did while he was at the podium. Literally turned it into a shit show.
And man, the other night was horrible. So there you go.
It was.
I don't know how they can get out of that. They didn't jack him up with enough.
They didn't. Not enough steroids.
Trump even said that afterwards when he was talking at some convention. He was like, "Yeah, they forgot to jack them all up." He was literally saying that the president takes drugs.
Dude, they should have gave him some of that Hunter Biden cocktail. Like, all right, this is what your son takes. Here you go.
Yeah, Hunter should have hooked him up.
Yeah,
he would have been good to go, man. A couple lines of that go stuff.
All right, Pop. What do you want? What do you want, Pop? You want the
Pop,
uppers? You want the
best
downers?
shit in the whole world.
I got my phone, Dad. What do you need?
Yeah.
Look you up.
Joe would have killed it. Joe would have been up there doing
Just
cartwheels.
Just give me a parole, Dad. Get me paroled out of here.
Right, yeah.
Joe would have been doing cartwheels like Chris Farley.
He'll be walking up. I'm by the river.
Joe Biden.
It was kind of sad, though. It was just kind of sad. It was. I hope.
Next one is what? September 12th is the next one.
I don't think this country can wait till then.
No, I think something's going to have to change.
Russia's moving in on us like we're a bunch of sissies. You think they'd be doing that if Trump was president? I don't think they would. I hate to say that. Any country looking at us right now has got to be laughing at us.
Man, next debate is September 10th, a day before the anniversary of 9/11.
Wow, that's a rough time to have that.
Yeah.
Hi, Becky. Welcome to the show, Becky. Welcome to the show, everybody. A ton of people dropping in. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. Enough politics. There we go. So, did you have anything else you wanted to touch on, Tyler, before I go into to bore everybody. I'm not. It's not boring, but I want to talk about some sacred geometry and
Oh no. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this, man.
Okay.
I was hoping I would get home in time for it. By the way, I got a stupid ass curious.
All right. So everybody, get ready to go down. It's kind of like you're going to go down a rabbit hole with me here. So one of the theories on the show, a long-lasting theory, is that my theory. This is me. Is that there were some major extinction events, that's happened on this planet that cleared the Earth, right? And we're going to talk about some things that they just don't teach you in school, that they did not teach us in school, that they even got it wrong. I think, in my 50-some years on this planet. I can see things that, I was taught that just were not true. And, I don't think they really knew. In fact, they may have even lied and tried to change things. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Sorry?
It's just like, what? Get out of here.
Right. I mean,
Thanks for
okay. When it comes to change in our history, one of the things, this is stay with me. If you do a search right now, everybody try to do a search about a major fire back in the 1920s or 1910s that destroyed a city, destroyed the city you live in, or a major city. Like there's these fires everywhere in every major city. And a lot of history was destroyed in these fires, entire history, entire cities were destroyed. And you can do a search, and just about every major city had like this huge fire. It's crazy. That could have been one way that they went about hiding history in the 20s. But one thing, okay, in these extinction events that happened, the first time, some of the very first things on this planet could have been giant, humongous creatures. And this is why there's steps under the ocean that are gigantic, that are there for no reason. I mean, they're gigantic, huge steps that are under the ocean for no reason. There's giant walls, giant buildings built everywhere. There's also, what we're going to look at real quick, are some of these giant structures created during this period. We're going to look at some of those. And some of the planet may have been possibly frozen at some point. Some of the mountains themselves might have turned into possibly fossilized creatures. And we're going to take a look at some of these too real quick. And then, if you look at the layers in rocks when you cut them everywhere, they look like human skin in a lot of ways. And there's a top layer that looks like a layer of skin, and then below it. But some places you go, the mountains look like you're just cutting skin. It's weird. And when you go to these salt Himalayan mountains, they look like you're chopping up chunks of bacon basically there. But the thing is, these giant creatures may have lived at some point and been completely destroyed, because in the rocks are these layers, right? And in these layers at some point is a layer of ash and radiation where the whole planet was decimated and destroyed. And it happens several times. You go a little farther down, there's another layer of radiation and decimation, and which hopefully we're not going to be the top layer coming up with the Russia attacking us, but at some point, entire civilizations were wiped out, maybe even frozen, maybe by gods that we don't understand. Things were in action sometimes with these people during that period where they were just frozen. possibly in place even. And these structures exist, these buildings exist that were built by these people that are gigantic, and they're there for no reason at all. And they still exist through, tens of thousands of years, these creations that couldn't have been made with chisels and stone. I mean, men, you got to give them their due. We have amazing technology and capabilities, and I mean, I don't mean technology, but we have the amazing, brain power and capabilities probably to build some of these places. But some of them you just look at and go, oh my God, what's the deal? But the cathedrals, we're going to look at a couple of cathedrals and talk about them, how they were built using ancient geometry with sound. They were built by the Knights Templar. And, some of them were possibly built to travel out of your body. They were hyperdimensional bridges where you were supposed to lay in the bottom, and then then your spirit rose up out of the top of it, and you traveled around, and they were possibly powered. And they generated sounds. The organs themselves generated these sounds that made the tree of life, and they resonated when you saw it in water. When you put speakers in water and they make symbols, they're all over the windows of all these cathedrals. These flowers of life symbols made out of sound, they're everywhere. And even the ceilings are made out of, impossible architecture that we can't even figure out how the hell some of them are made. It can't even be duplicated. These wide open spaces where everything's crossing over, we look at that and just, it's almost impossible to duplicate now. And we're going to look at a couple of those too. What do you want to say, Adam?
Oh, nothing. I was looking over at my fiance. She's
I got you.
Here in the bunker with me.
Oh, cool.
So,
Special bunker guest.
Yep.
There you go. So, what's up, Tyler?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. So, hi, Kimberly. How's it going? Welcome to the show. Definitely.
Can I just say one thing though?
Yes.
What you're talking about, like ancient civilizations and past civilizations, it's starting to creep up a lot more too in media. So a lot of people are catching more and more on to these ideas. Everybody knows I'm a big Godzilla fan. I love the Godzilla movies. They hit on that a lot with the newer movies about ancient civilizations, the extinct beasts, and stuff like that. And that's actually because they actually look into all these theories. Like right now, according to scientists, there have been 5 extinction events throughout the existence of the planet. They think now there might have been 2, a 6th and a 7th one. One being the Under Dryas event, which was what ended the Pleistocene era. And the other one they think may have happened shortly before it. So this whole, extinction event, like, what did this? We're starting to catch on more and more that stuff like this might have happened more frequently than just what killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's talk of these wars between gods that could have, created the deserts. And when that happened, during that extinction wipeout, not soon after that, the Egyptians might have just taken over these structures. They might have not necessarily built them. That's another thing is, they may have kind of taken over structures that were made by other beings, possibly. And the original, structures were built for power and a possible sort of power source. And, there's talk of water running underneath, the main pyramids. And now they've just discovered, that sounds crazy, water running underneath them. Come on. But now they found, this sunken city, a Roman city right next to them at the bottom of the ocean over there. So Lord knows what was going on, and they can't figure out why. And, the reason, there was a Roman city right there. The Romans might have been involved with building some of this stuff and some of these technologies, and, how do they get in with that? And, then something happened, and there's all these structures that are just kind of half built out there that are humongous structures. They're just half built. Why? And they're all over the place, and they match. In different locations, and they're just. It's like a whole species was wiped out, possibly. But that we might have figured that out, a lot of it. In the 1800s, we still had some of that history, and the world fairs, they started having these world fairs everywhere, and they were exhibiting this technology. And all of them in all these different cities were all of a sudden burned down. And around the same time, there was major fires in all these cities everywhere, all over the place. I mean, you can look it up, like literally, and you'll see there was a fire in like every major city. And people think that was, an attempt to kind of destroy some of this information about free energy that this possibly Tartarian Empire had created and perfected. And yeah, so all right, so I'm going to take us down the rabbit hole real quick. Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Dooby dooby doo.
Oh, are these the ruins off the coast of Japan?
Yes.
Do you know they say these are natural formations?
Yeah, look at these things. I mean,
There's nothing natural about that.
look at this huge place that was built under the water. You could say that's just natural formations, but whenever they swim around it and you look at the carvings and the perfect cuts, and that doesn't look very natural to me. Those look like steps.
Yeah, that looks like it was like built above the water, and then the land just fell into the water.
Yeah.
Who's walking on those steps? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Not really walking, you're climbing.
Yeah,
Well,
humans.
depends on how small you are. Like he just said, human, it could have been something bigger.
Look at those cuts in that rock to the right. Look at how straight they are.
Mm-hmm.
How could they even do that?
Yeah, and they want to sit there and tell us that this is a natural formation. How can you look at that and say it's natural?
It's like some people have a hard time doing cuts like that now.
Yeah.
How do you
Especially
lay these giant? How do you lay these giant rocks on top of each other with precision cuts like that? I don't think they were done by the Egyptians either. They literally were pushing around rocks on sand and had some cool ideas, but I don't think they were doing stuff like this. So this video has, a lot of really good, big, large structures all over the world, and it's pretty much what the idea of it is. Oh, dang it. Of course, we get this commercial. This guy, I like this guy, but hold on. Look at some of these things.
You know what?
Just
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. How it just stopped in the middle. That one was. I mean, these structures are just.
That's a cool view.
Now take a look at these rocks. They're interesting. The way that they're set. Hold on. How could we even do this, now, today? Perfectly cut these rocks and place them like this. Gigantic, humongous stones. I mean, we could probably have done it with pulleys and cranes. They probably actually had cranes even, but the size of them is just, why? Why do they build these things?
You're looking at pulleys, cranes, wet saws. and stuff like that to make sure that the lines are straight or precise. Yeah.
Like you could do it. Men could do this, but why? You know, and this the size of it all is what's amazing.
Yeah.
Another
Um,
thing that's always fascinating too, why is it that almost every ancient civilization had their own version of a pyramid?
uh-huh.
That's the one thing that's always kind of confused me. They're all pyramid shaped.
A lot of buildings have this design on them. See this design right here? For whatever reason, on to the
Yeah.
left, a
It's
lot
like
of
the
ancient
broken
structures.
cross, I think is what it's referred to
Uh-huh.
as. It looks
Uh-huh.
kind of swastika-ish.
So look at this wall. Could you imagine trying to build that?
Wow.
That seems just the cuts on these bricks. I mean, on these pieces of stone, and then transporting to these locations just seems impossible. But you know, got to have some faith in our in mankind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This place here is same kind of thing. Just these
Because I've got a better
stones.
height of the gauge. So this is the 150 ton block is 55 tons around that area, and the corner block, which is this is probably the heaviest or close to maybe that one that you can see there in the background. They're about 102 tons. Again, these are limestone. They're on the lower tier, and yes, we can. And not only that, these are much better, and I'll show you why. All right, so these very similar size to that, and they go back and they're interlocking, not just on the front inch or two of the stone, but through the entirety in 3 dimensions, you know, 20 by 30 sort of centimetre. But if you turn it side on, well, it's barely visible in the same sort of print behind. Not so nice, but those lighthouses are all
Look
the
at these
way in
cathedrals.
the movement in there. The lighthouses, if they had that
These
same
are this video is basically all structures that are just impossible and shouldn't exist.
movement, they wouldn't be existing anymore. So we do, until recently, did build with megalifts, like in that Iowa State Memorial, and lifted them without super advanced, modern machinery. Lifted them. That's the important part. Sacsayhuaman, those big stones never need to be lifted. They just had to be moved and then raised. And yeah, different sort of scale as well. So this is a context sort of video. So we do have, okay, because I've gone through it again.
So yeah,
on the
those are
grounds,
interesting.
never needed to be lifted, but then you see other places that.
There you go. Okay, so this. Oh, here's our monolith getting removed out in the desert.
Challengers. The winner gets both this.
Oh.
You may remember this mysterious monolith that reappeared about a week ago overlooking the valley. Well, it's been moved again, this time
There
by
it is, laying
police.
on the ground.
LVMPD said.
Now look, I mean, did he just use concrete? You think and just set it? There's rebarb in the bottom. You can see sticking out. Yeah, that's how you do it, Bubba.
So they they basically put the monolith with rebar into the ground, surrounded it by quickcrete, so it's set fast overnight, and then leave it and go.
Yep.
One of these days, there's got to be a real
Plans to help
monolith.
move it due to public safety, environmental concerns, and it's being stored at an
Not so
undisclosed
mysterious when you see
location
the
while they figure
rebar.
out what to do with it, or either get rid of it or store it. Police say they still don't know how it got there or who put it there. At this time, there's no investigation into it, but Metro does discourage you from leaving things behind on the trails.
I think they referred to garbage, though, not monoliths.
Now here's some new prehistoric mega structures discovered in Montana.
This game,
Right after this, that's not
you're
it.
not ready for.
Look at the size of these bricks. This is right here in America, but look at this structure.
This is in what state again?
Montana.
I'm gonna look something up real quick.
What is that? What is that?
perfectly round spot, magnetic rock.
Oh,
It could just have iron in it.
yeah.
Good. Yep.
It came to light when the landowners decided to clear a portion of their property that had been heavily forested and covered with dense foliage for centuries.
It's huge.
Natural formation, when it's clearly seen that the wall is perfectly straight-lined.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
just
cool
wanna-
structure
I
they
just want
found.
to point out that some of the ancient civilizations that are from that area, I looked this up. Most all Native American, Assiniboine, Chippewa, Blackfoot. That's my tribe right there. The Cree, the Crow, Boston Tree, Kootenai, Little Shell, Chippewa, Northern Cheyenne, Kendorili, Sioux, or the Sioux, and Salish. But
Yep. A lot of them understood this tree of life technology. You know, the Indians did too.
the big thing is like I can't see a Native American tribe building that unless it was like way before the discovery of North America.
So here's a top view of the Borobudur, which was discovered in the early 1800s after being mysteriously buried and abandoned. And they uncovered it, and now it's one of the most important sites in the Buddhist tradition. And there's no record of its construction or who built it or anything at all. But if you look at this closely, remember Terrence Howard talking about the tree of life? And
Yeah.
yep, there's that's the right frequency. The Shuldani pattern, I guess you call it. And look what that creates. Isn't that interesting?
Wait, what?
So, you know, these structures have been created using sound patterns, they believe.
Do you
Look
think maybe that's what Terrence Howard's based most of his research on is
Well, a lot of structures utilize this tree of life, you know, in their designs. And, I mean, look at this. Hold on. Let's see. Which one was this? Yeah, here you go. This guy's incredible.
Look really closely at what that paw is sitting on. Do you know what that is? That is knowledge that was guarded at all costs in every culture in the
Hold on, if I can make that bigger. I'm sorry.
ancient world.
Why can't I blow that up?
To understand what this was, you had to go through a very intense process, training, and
That's the tree of life right there, right? Clarence Howard made those weird figures out of in the middle of them.
Learning it unlocks new pathways in the mind, a new way of seeing the world. They figured out a way to teach you everything you need to know about the universe using only a circle and a straight line. When you draw a bunch of circles and connect those lines, you can project it into 3D as this shape. It's the vector matrix. It's where our concept of the matrix comes from. Inside the circle is a tetrahedron, a three-sided pyramid. It's the simplest shape you can draw to triangulate any point within any circle. Now, if that matrix is a fabric of space-time, we can grab that fabric and twist it down to create a particle. This goes straight into the concept of the atom. The atom comes from the word atum in Egypt. Read that description. It's also the origin of ADM, atom, in Hebrew. So up here you can see the shape evolving into the icon that we know. That icon geometrically is the vector equilibrium. Is one of the most stable shapes because all lines and angles are exactly the same throughout the whole shape. That is an actual picture from IBM of an atom. Check out how closely all of those points hit on the electron clouds. Now the Bohr model makes a little bit more sense. If that wasn't weird enough, this knowledge goes smaller. That is a quantum carpet. They're used to visualize particle density and explain how waves become particles. Now all of these translate into complex math equations. If we mathematically map out the quantum carpet of a torus, we get that. Do you see a pattern here? In my last video, I showed you how the ancient Sumerians knew about this quantum wave interaction. So ancient Sumerians knew about this, ancient Chinese knew about this, ancient Hindus knew about this, Native Americans knew about this, ancient Egyptians knew about this, but you don't know about this. Do not worry. I wrote an entire book about it. It comes out in a couple days. It's the sequel to my last book.
There you go. And he plugs his book at the end. So, how did they all have this knowledge about, the tree of life and these sound waves, and they've designed buildings, and, but we've lost this technology, and, that it's just been hidden from us somehow. And I don't get it. Let's see. Look at this. This is the ceiling of the Dilwara Temple in Rajasthan. The complex is one of the most impressive Jain temples he's ever seen, and believed to have built in the 11th and 16th centuries. So check this out. It's on the left. On the right is the CERN particle accelerator.
I was going to say on the right, that looks like the CERN.
Yeah.
What is the deal with that? I mean, coincidence? I don't know. The Dilwara Temple, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just going to leave that at that. Okay. This is a really cool explanation of what's going on with cathedrals. Check this out. We might have watched this earlier, but Base Forge is amazing. Shout out to Base Forge. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of replaying some of this stuff, but it's just information that's great, and I want to get it out there.
Line like this, but it is a square when we rotate it. The third dimension, where you exist, has height, width, and depth. The fourth dimension is how we experience the third, and it is...
Wait, I'm sorry.
Chill with me for a second, because we're going to look at the hyperdimensional geometry of cathedrals. Cathedrals were built by the Knights Templar, who later evolved into the Freemasons. To understand the function, we have to know how space and time works. So, first dimension, point. The second dimension appears to be a line like this, but it is a square when we rotate it. The third dimension, where you exist, has height, width, and depth. The fourth dimension is how we experience the third, and it is a additional cube connected to our original three-dimensional cube. To experience the true nature of these shapes, they have to be moving, or they just look like weird lines. You must pay a certain amount of time to have an experience in the third dimension. Unfolding the cube, we get a cross. Christ symbolizes the crucifixion of consciousness into the physical. To have a human experience, you have to tune out almost everything else in reality. We only experience a certain spectrum of things. This is called the veil of Isis. It's the stimulus in nature that we are tuned to perceive. This takes one main consciousness and fractalizes it into the consciousness that governs your body. This governing consciousness allows you to move your own hand, but not worry about controlling your heartbeat. It is your individual experience here. This allows the brain to process the experience of everything through time. The cube of you connected to the hypercube of time is your life or experience here. Unfolding it, we get something that should look very similar.
Now
The
check this
cathedral
out.
is an unfolded hypercube or tesseract. This architectural layout is called cruciform. It is a material structure that reflects space-time, and that's where the magic happens. It's called the cryptoporticus, or crypt. An initiate would get in something like that after consuming a psychoactive substance. The distributed consciousness in the body gets focused in the mind. Instead of the body resonating with the physical world through the senses, the mind mirrors the architecture of the universe and resonates with that. This can produce what is described as an out-of-body experience. With the mind free to travel outside of the physical body, you can explore the dimensions outside of time. But I'm sure you're thinking of this problem: what if I get lost? Luckily, all proper cathedrals have these. The pipe organ would play soothing, harmonious tones so that the person having the out-of-body experience would still be able to recognize that they had a body because they could hear the music. This is because the ear canal is connected to the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is connected to every vital organ in your body. This is why you jump when you hear a loud noise. When you get recubed, you would debrief your experience, tell what you learned, and you would become part of the order. This video is actually just 4 pages out of my new book. If you read my previous book, this probably made a lot more sense.
This guy's
If you love
literally
esoteric
saying
knowledge. It is
that the cathedrals were built as just hyperdimensional bridges for you to just travel out of your body. What do you think about that, guys?
Huh.
And the huge pipe organs were for you to return to your body. It could be a bunch of bullshit, but it's pretty wild what's going on with sound, the way those are built.
It's very interesting. I'll give it that. Yeah.
The the organs do resonate perfect frequencies that do all kinds of crazy stuff too. You know, they hit these frequencies and tones that you can't hit
Yeah.
anywhere else. You know. So check out these massive pyramids in China.
Hold on, Rob.
Okay.
Did anyone else catch that in order for this portal to work, you had to basically take shrooms in
Yeah.
order for it to work?
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DMT or yeah.
Maybe.
They didn't even have then.
Well, some people who take like shrooms or DMT, they say they have these weird experiences and hallucinations. Maybe you're supposed to take it with the music playing to like create a frequency that calms you, or I'm not sure.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Don't give anybody ideas, Tyler.
I'm not trying to give anybody ideas. No, we
No, I'm just playing.
Facebook, though, on a slight tangent, Facebook actually showed me an ad for shroom gummies
Oh yeah.
for
Those are a thing.
Gummies.
for creative arts and to boost my creativity.
Yeah, there's they're finding out microdoses of mushrooms can help you if you just take a little bit. Apparently it can change your mood and make you kind of happy, and if you mix it with things like lion's mane and some other things, there's these things called microdoses, and you just take one and it puts you in a better mood, makes you more alert, does a lot of like positive stuff actually. So I don't know. That's what they say. Check out these massive pyramids in China. How in the hell were these built? That's what I would like to know. Listen to this.
So-called ruins in the 1800s.
So-called ruins. Let's talk about that real quick. They like to call everything ruins. They like to call everything ancient. They like to call everything mythology, and they like to call everything legends. And the thing is, I got a feeling some of these like gods that they talk about, and creatures and things like that, they might have been real. I hate to say that, but like these Roman gods and that they worshipped, and they're all written about kind of in text everywhere, and there's these books of Enoch that are being deciphered that tell the stories of these gods having these battles and destroying parts of the planet, and it's just makes you wonder, man, if these they just like to call these places, oh, they're just ruins. Who the hell built this stuff right here, you guys? That's what I want to know. Watch this. I don't think it was anyone in our written history, I'll tell you that much.
This time in the Ajanta caves. But in order to understand this, we have to first go to the Baja Buddhist caves, all located in India, 260 miles apart from each other, showing that this is very common to have palace caves in the past, where we can clearly see that the previous civilization was technologically beyond anything that we could ever imagine, and clearly beyond anything that we have ever been told. This advanced group of people that were here before us were not only capable of building palaces situated on the ground, like we have seen with the Cologne Cathedral or the Milan Cathedral, palaces that last forever, built to easily withstand the test of time. The previous civilization was also capable to go into cliffs and carve out palaces within the volcanic rock that extends along a cliff overlooking the Wagora River. And at this point in time, alarms should be going off for all of us. At this point in time, we should all be able to see that there is something massive wrong with what we have been told by the mainstream history. Just because they call them ruins or ancient, this does not simply dismiss why they are here. We can see that there are 22 entrances to this place where they are called caves now. And we know here that it's very possible we're not being told everything, where the good stuff is normally off limits to the public, where we know that, we've seen that, where we know that a few caves, or in my opinion, entrances, have been either destroyed or hidden by dirt. I found some incredible stuff here, and I'm not holding any of it back. So let's take a look together. Once you enter this cave, you see centralized in the back
look
is
at
a
this.
rock-carved ball placed on top of this platform.
Why
And
and
you'll definitely want to
how?
remember this for later. And they tell us that this is a relic of resident monks, where their names are engraved on the side. But let's be honest and think logically. Me and you could have just wrote our names on the side of this thing last night, telling us that this dates back 2,200 years ago. And we all know how trustworthy that date is at this point. Not only do we have this one that seems to be the main one, but they have all these other ones in another cave nearby. So they were clearly used for something, where some of them connected to the ceiling. And in my opinion, this part has been destroyed, and was very possible that it was an energy source. Because when we go back to the main one, you can see that that one also had this box on top, which is, in my opinion, no longer connected to the ceiling where it once was. Some sort of old world technology here for sure. Incredible stuff. Someone has clearly come in here and destroyed the tops of these structures, and something has happened here where we live. We all know this by now. A massive mud flood has buried a lot of structures. We know that a lot of the old world is still under our feet. And we also know that there are hidden structures within these hills, especially when we are told in an article on photodharma.net that in 1879, the exact same year that James Ferguson was taking photos of these caves, 260 miles away, in another set of caves in India, which is lining up perfectly for us now, that a very old and most interesting cave was discovered in the Baja Scarp further east. When first found, the cave was filled nearly to the roof of the veranda with mud and earth.
It's just an interesting spot, man. I really, it's hard to take that in. Check this out.
Why we're being told that they were built with hammers and chisels today, I think we take a step closer to finding out where this incredible knowledge of construction truly.
Watch what false teacher.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to zoom in.
We want to know why we're being told that they were built with hammers and chisels today. I think we take a step closer to finding out where this incredible knowledge of construction truly came from, where we are all aware of the massive continent that was completely left out of our mainstream textbooks, the land of Muse. So let's go even deeper. When we go back to this article from the Courier Journal from 1925, nearly 100 years ago, where it reads, according to the records from Colonel Churchward, and they
came from the land of Mu, which is kind of interesting. But why a couple more things? Let's see here. Take a look at these giants. Would maybe still exist, you guys. I was talking to you about this, Tyler. Look at this.
Okay. My paleontology senses are saying those look like the skulls of or heads of tyrannosaurs, but I know they're mountains. I just see a tyrannosaur. I see like two tyrannosaur heads for some reason. That's a bird. There's a dragon, looks like. Do not know what that is. That's a person's face.
Yeah, you can see the nose and lips and eyes on that one.
Yep, dragon.
Yeah.
Well, that's in Hollywood.
Okay.
That looks like somebody holding somebody. I don't know what I'm seeing there.
Face.
Oh, I see the face now. Okay.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Found him.
An alien face.
Yeah. Okay, so here is my question. How do we know some of those rocks, like that one there, looks like a dog's face? How do we know those
Just not natural
maybe
formation.
aren't not natural formations, but how do we know that maybe like some civilization might have carved those?
Right.
And maybe there's something nearby, you know?
That looks like the backbone of a snake. That looks like it's the inside of a creature. That looks like snake scales.
Yeah.
That looks like a bear right there. Now there's one photo you showed that looks like a turtle. There's one photo you showed a while back that if you didn't tell me, if you told me that was a carving, I would. If you told me it was a real animal, I'd believe you.
Bigfoot.
What's up, Sage?
Sage, we're looking at rock formations that maybe have been frozen in time.
We're looking at ancient civilizations, and
possibly ancient beings that existed long before, long before we possibly existed. Maybe something happened with these gods, where these gods just froze everything and turned them all into rocks. You just never know. Look at those little faces all over the place. Of course, you can also look at all of these pictures and go, it's just a rock or somebody just carved it. But
some of these I can see. There's also, what is it they call it, where it's actually a mental process that
like whatever you see, like the butterfly effect or
the butterfly effect. No, it's more like when you see what you think is the Virgin Mary and a piece of toast.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that?
And you can look at all of them like that.
Yeah,
but
it's the mind is trying to associate what you're seeing.
Yeah.
To something that.
But there are so many.
Yeah.
There's just so many that just makes you kind of, petrified animals and humans is what Troy sees. That's kind of what I see too.
I see what could perhaps be a few petrified animals. There's a couple there I'm sitting there thinking that's got to be like an ancient civilization or temple.
There may have been an extinction event that happened, and we just
the theory of relativity. That's what it's called. It's where your mind tries to find similar shapes in everything and tries to associate it with whatever.
This is a test, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. So like right there, I see.
Everybody, this will be on the exam.
Yeah, we'll test later.
No open book.
So this video is very long. All the slideshow I'm showing you is incredibly long, and it's just you can see it's just almost 15 minutes of videos like this.
I don't want to say what that just freaking reminded me of, but
hello.
I'm sorry. That was
we know it's on Tyler's mind.
So, what does this look like?
It is the saltiest rock in the world, and it's Himalayan salt with just one trick. The businessman presented it as the table salt ceiling. Its name is Himalaya, but it has nothing to do with the Himalayas. It is produced in Pakistan, 300 kilometers away. The pink salt is made of crystallized sea fossils, dating back 600,000 years to enter the mine by train. You have to go through nearly 40 kilometers of tunnels. The salt mine has 17 levels, 6 on the surface and 11 underground. The 300 miners work in the darkness of the mine using primitive methods. They first drill too deep into the rock. They put powder and ignite it with a safety iron compared to when consumed. But that doesn't stop its price from 700,000. In the next issue, follow me now if you liked it. Content.
So that looks like bacon.
There are many new things, some true and some false, and it's good to enrich your knowledge. See you in the next issue. Follow me now if you liked it. Content.
This world is not what you've been told it was. And it's certainly not just the depictions of faces found time and time again in the rocks. Our realm was much larger, and the evidence that geology is nothing more than hardened biology can be found everywhere. And those with open eyes and open minds see it all too well. Makes you wonder about that pink Himalayan salt. We are standing.
I mean, look at that. That looks like some slice of bacon to me. Look at the top layer. It even looks like a layer of dermatitis or skin.
Literally on the remains of this much larger post-apocalyptic.
1 minute later.
Petrified giants. Whatever happened to them most probably happened fast and simultaneously. Now, do I believe that they are 100% petrified? And the answer is yes and no. If giants are real, like the Bible, Dead Sea Scrolls, and other literature defines, they were not born of the same flesh like me and you, so I think they were only stopped but not destroyed. And these pink salt mines and these flesh-looking stones are part of their bodies harvested from the earth. And for us to deny the similarities that this was once some living tissue, when pictures and video show layer by layer the truth.
Pretty wild. Wild.
Supposed to be then, Rob.
That is why my salt rocks, my crystal salt rocks and lamps are all selenite, not Himalayan salt. So there you go. Yeah.
I have a Himalayan salt rock light in my room right now. So it's actually a giant nightlight, technically.
Uh-huh. So one thing, when a lot of our history might have been maybe possibly erased is around, the 1900s and the late, okay. Look at the 1893 World's Fair. This is 1893.
No.
Okay.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever you want. You can have really relaxed, slow-paced stuff where you can take it easy. Or you could be on the edge of your seat.
Oh, I was wondering, like, wait, your video's not even playing.
Button and the electrical power turned on.
Ascension WoW is a standalone World of Warcraft private server that reimagines WoW in a brand new way.
It's a darker side. African Americans were excluded, indigenous people were exhibited, and the fair would become forever linked with a serial killer. This is the incredible story of the 1893 World's Fair.
Just look at that place.
The 1893 World's Fair was considered a remarkable achievement, not least because it took place just 22 years after Chicago was gutted by fire. Between October 8th and 10th, 1871, a huge inferno ripped through the mostly wooden city. National Geographic reports that an estimated 300 people were killed and 17,500 structures were destroyed. The cost of the damage was around $200 million. With 90,000 of the city's 324,000 residents now homeless, looting broke out. Martial law was also declared on October 11th and lasted for several weeks. However, Chicago's leaders saw an opportunity to rebuild a bigger, better, more fireproof city. Fortunately, the railroad was level. Most Americans had still never encountered this seemingly magical technology before, and they got a dramatic introduction. At the fair's opening on May 1st, President Grover Cleveland pushed a button and the electrical power turned on.
Did you know you can AFK
Did you hear
run
that?
Isaiah whilst learning to code in Python? Go to boot.dev. We've known our...
Grover Cleveland spanked me on 2 non-consecutive occasions.
Hundreds of thousands of lights illuminated the buildings of the White City. It was the first World's Fair lit solely by electricity, but the spectacle went even further than that. A whole exhibition hall was dedicated to electricity. Guests could witness innovations such as electric sewing machines, irons, laundry machines, an early fax machine, and electric chairs. There was also the world's first moving sidewalk, the predecessor of the ones used in airports today. All this electricity was provided by one of history nerds' favorite inventors. Yes, the 1893 exposition is part of Nikola Tesla's unbelievable real-life story. Tesla sold his patents for an electrical system based on AC current to George Westinghouse. Westinghouse used them to undercut rival Thomas Edison's General Electric Company and win the bid to supply electricity to the exposition. But Edison still had a presence at the fair. It was the first time many visitors ever saw a light bulb, and he showed off his kinetoscope, an early device showing moving pictures. There's no carnival attraction.
Look at this Ferris wheel that was there. Each one of those things weighed like a ton or something like that. This entire structure was like the heaviest, most gigantic wheel ever made. Like, it was just huge. I don't know if he talks about
An
it.
enormous wheel spinning on a central axle. This was no carnival attraction. According to the Chicago Architecture Center, it stood 264 feet tall with 36 gondolas around its outer edge, each able to hold 60 people.
60! Each gondola carried 60 people and was run with electricity.
And we have
Carrying a
nothing
total
like
of
that nowadays.
2,160 riders at a time.
Look,
Burnham
2,000 riders could ride it at once.
160 riders.
was skeptical, and Ferris spent his own money running safety tests. Eventually, he succeeded in convincing Burnham, and the Ferris wheel became one of the exposition's main attractions, with approximately 1.4 million visitors paying the 50-cent fee to ride.
I would really like to take you out.
Fred, do you mind? You can't sit more than 2 people in a chair, Noah!
The 1893
the
World's
fire?
Fair was the backdrop for one of maybe more familiar, and it's one of the things in. Afterwards, it was taken over by the Art Institute of Schiller's footsteps in these beautiful buildings. Check out one of our newest videos, right? It was taken over by the Art Institute of Chicago, which had partly funded its construction. We can't visit the 1893 World's Fair, but thankfully, we can retread the visitors' footsteps in these beautiful buildings. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff.
So it's just pretty wild that that fair, you know, even existed, man. Here, you know, then they had the St. Louis Fair, and it was destroyed by fire, you know.
Design, develop, scale, repeat. Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises.
And we're going to end it.
It's like the midway of any fair writ large. It was huge.
They called it the Pike, a stretch of lindel a mile long and as wide as imagination. There were circus elephants and cliff dwellers. You could visit places like China and Cairo and attend a Bedouin wedding. You could even witness creation and get a taste of the hereafter, washed down with the cold beer enjoyed in the Tyrolean Alps. But when it came time for the final farewell, St. Louis faced a dilemma.
The fair planners had a contractual obligation to demolish the fairgrounds and to return Forest Park to sort of a predetermined landscape. And they were legally obligated to do that. But the problem out on the Pike was that they were all concessionaires, and what they had set up was all theirs. And they couldn't sell it for anything. The costs of demolition were greater than the value of what there was to salvage.
And that's when some started suggesting the Pike be made permanent. But among those who rejected the idea was Washington University. The Pike practically began at its front entrance, so that was the end of the discussion.
And the fairgrounds would have looked at stuff and gone, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Or I didn't know that. But the Pike was like just a place to have a good time. Big amusement park.
Of the 60 attractions on the Pike, perhaps the most popular was a horse named Beautiful Jim Key. For 15 cents, you could watch him use blocks to spell his name and even do math. His wonders were later celebrated in a song which included the verse, I can count and I can add, know my alphabet, and that's not bad. I can even give you change. For a horse, that seems strange.
So they just had to destroy that place. But anyway, it's just wild how, we've had, I think, people have, had this technology, and I think they figured out a lot of the sound technology by then, and people like Edison and companies like that, and wanted to hide it. So I don't know. It's a lot of Sage Ramsey says, "Salt my ass. That's human flesh." Yeah, I mean, you look at those photos and you just wonder, we haven't been told everything, have we? We're eating giant remains. Yeah, I might be, man. It's very possible.
So I got a question.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you know how everybody we were talking we mostly talk about UFOs. There's no denying that on this show. What if what the UFOs are the actual ancient civilizations? Because I've always felt like Earth has like maybe a hodgepodge of species. You have, of course, humans that grew up here on Earth, and I also sometimes think that I personally think that an ancient civilization may have came here from Mars and was just so close enough genetically they blended in, and that's how you had to jump from, Neanderthals and everything to humans. What if those ships? Because we always talk about well, how'd they lift that rock? How'd they lift that? What if it's that civilization, and these are just like the ones that either left for something or they're just still around? They just came back. I don't know.
Yeah. There's
I know it's a random ass thought, but it's like
I mean, that thought also leads to the explanation as to why there's not a missing link.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Because if you look at almost every animal species that's evolved throughout the years, I mean, for God's sakes, dinosaurs are technically the missing link between reptiles and birds. They're that connection. There's no real connection between man and apes.
Yep. And with all this new stuff coming out about the Anunnaki, and it even mentions in the Bible the Anunnaki. They called them the Anak, and it talks about different gods in the Bible, and you just don't even know what to believe now. It says, "Don't worship any other gods before me." Why do you say that?
Jealousy.
There might have been a couple gods out there, maybe. I don't know.
well,
That's right.
Had plenty of gods that they were believing in, and there were some other gods too, like Baal.
Some of those, frozen giants might have been Nephilim. They could have, didn't, they came down, did some bad stuff, and the gods got mad at them and just froze them all. Boom. Who knows, man? It's very possible.
Or if you go off of what ancient Greece used to say, in ancient Greece, they claim like certain mountains that would look a strange way. They would claim that's the primordials, and that's where the primordials fell once it was either the Titans or the gods slayed them.
Right.
Either way, almost every civilization has something like, look, you see that mountain there? That used to be a dude. He fucked around and found out.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Or is caused by a fight between two, and that's something that resulted from it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's a lot to think about. They died in a flood. Yep. Well, which flood? That's the question. And, that's true.
Then Tesla. Sorry.
Oh, if you read what's going on in the apparently what they found in the actual Dead Sea Scrolls, and the stories in there, there's a lot that happened before the flood, maybe, and there could have been wars that happened between other gods and other higher beings that just wiped everything out a few times. But if you like this stuff, definitely check out that Forge guy. He's amazing. What's his name? Dang it, I got him in here.
There's places around the world so beautiful that they'll leave you.
I love all his stuff. He's amazing. Sorry, I stole some of his videos tonight, but there you have it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, some of the history that we might have been lied about and why. And, I think it might be just to keep free energy from us, a lot of it. But
either keep free energy from us or keep us hidden from the truth, or it's weird too, because everybody says the world is a lot smaller, we know more about it, it's not as mystical or magical as it used to be. But if you actually look at it, there's still a lot about the earth we don't know. We know more about space than our own planet, our own oceans.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot being uncovered. A lot of people are really awakening up. They're waking up about all this, and they're realizing that what we've been told might not necessarily be the gospel, as they say, and we, like you said, Tyler, people all over the internet are opening up about it and trying to figure it all out. And things are actually, as the world heats up, water levels are dropping everywhere, and it's uncovering all kinds of stuff everywhere that's really freaking people out, like these mines and these lost cities. And we're gonna just find more and more as that happens too. But I was looking. Last thing, I was driving to Decatur yesterday to go see Ace Frehley, and I looked over to the left at this structure that looked like a pyramid. And it looked like some kind of a building, like that was covered with grass and like mountain stuff. But when I looked over to the left, it looked like it could have been like a underground pyramid or something. Like, I've never noticed it before, and it made me want to drive out there and like go to this place and like see what the hell is this? Why is this weird? It wasn't shaped like a pyramid. It was just long and like a little weird hill that was just perfectly like flat almost on top in areas. I don't know. It was just weird to be there in the middle of nowhere, So it made me kind of want to go check it out. I'm thinking about driving there and going, just scoping it out. Maybe take a metal detector or something. That'd be cool. I need a metal detector. Anybody got a metal detector?
I know.
I know.
So, well, there you go. Thank you for watching tonight, everybody. And I think I hope that you learn some interesting new takes on life. From my little spiel here.
Becky says those might have been Civil War bunkers. I know there are a few in the area.
Some of these just giant caves, though, that are made, that are just, so big. And like that city in China, those walls are just smooth everywhere. And it just seems so impossible that humans did that. But, it is possible, I suppose. Men are amazing. but I don't know. Could you imagine building some of these cathedrals now and even attempting it? It's just insane. So I don't know. But there you go. Well, thank you guys for listening, and hope we didn't bore you too much with my little spiel on ancient history and technology. But you know, we'll get back to our normal cool stuff next week. But the flower of life and these forbidden cities and geometry and quantum physics and mathematics are just all kind of combined, and there's some secret about it that the Mayans understood, the Indians understood, all these cultures understood, but we don't. Just like that video said. So it's pretty wild that maybe we're kind of coming around figuring it out, though. So we will. We're pretty smart. We'll figure this out. But it's an interesting ride. But we were gonna get to Neil deGrasse. Darn it! We'll have to.
You can wait. It's okay. I'll do a little bit more research on the subject.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Something to look forward to.
Well, what happened with Neil Tyson?
I'll put it simply so we can go over it next time, but it has to do with Dyson spheres.
Oh, I think I heard about this. Yeah.
I found Neil deGrasse Tyson's response to the story I found. It's in our group chat, but I was going to touch on it. I didn't want to interrupt this. So I'm willing to do that next week and do a little bit more research on it. So it's kind of maybe a better story.
And yes, Rich, I did watch that one. I know Rob's watched it.
Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah. Neil Tyson deGrasse just recently, I think he might have inadvertently started another feud.
Yeah. Oh, you mean more?
Yeah.
Once already.
He was at a debate a while back, and they were talking about, it was with a bunch of other like famous researchers and scientists. During that debate, he may have pissed off Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, damn, really?
Which I don't care for Bill Nye the Science Guy. Piss him off. I don't care. I never liked him. I was a Beekman kid.
Right?
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
So, wow. Whatever it was enough that when they got up to leave, all these other scientists were shaking hands. Bill Nye didn't shake Neil Tyson deGrasse's hands. He walked right past him. And so whatever it was enough to piss him off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I forget what it was about. I got to look it up.
So, we talked a lot about that last week, Rich. Actually, you must have missed the show last week. We covered the whole response and everything from Neil deGrasse and how he dissed him and everything. Yep. It's the rap battle of the physicists. And it's continuing on, apparently. So, we'll leave you with a couple more images just to make you wonder as you go to sleep about this earth that we're living in.
That's from the Lord of the Rings. That's the kingdom. That's where the One Ring's at.
That was Gandalf, possibly.
Yeah, that's Gandalf.
That's Gandalf's beard.
Oh, that's where they keep the gold. That's where they keep the Mayan gold.
Well, that's definitely, dude fell asleep right there. Dang it. He got a big Pinocchio nose.
That's where I keep my gold.
There's troll head. Oh, dang.
Oh, let's see. Okay, hold on.
That's.
I think that was the one you showed me, and you told me that's all rock, and I wanted to call bullshit on you so much.
Yeah.
But I can't find that picture anymore. But that was it.
There's that one again. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So
there's Skull Island. God, can you imagine if some of this is actually
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, if some of this is actually Sylvester Stallone.
There's a skull. Some of
That's
these
a skull for sure. Yeah.
little. That's Skeletor.
Until we meet again.
I'm about to say, with Skeletor, the one you guys like, or the one from my show that's just
Both of them.
Oh,
Giant skulls. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, have some Himalayan salt on your next meal.
that's where Godzilla sleeps.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, that's a skull right there. You can see the jawline, for God's sakes.
So
that's from Lord of the Rings.
I was
actually that.
Kong.
Could you go back to that last one, please?
Was that Kong?
I'm sorry. I know I keep wanting you to go back. But I just saw that and I'm like, holy shit! What? When it comes up. Okay, pause it. That's Megatron. That's seriously Megatron. It's got the bucket helmet and everything. What the hell? I see. Look, the theory of relative. I'm seeing Megatron.
Yeah.
Rob's seeing King Kong.
Link from Giants to Transformers.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's a big busted lady that fell out right there.
She's suntanning. Now that's creepy. Imagine if that was the actual god there, that mountain. Oh, jeez.
Well, these could have just been a bunch of gods that just got frozen by some other god, maybe.
Now that's really weird right there.
That's pretty wild, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Oh, sorry about that. This is a family show.
That was the hedonistic god.
That's pretty wild right there.
That
Look at stuff like this and, you think, well, I guess it could have been carved. But look how it's all greened over and, the moss. And that looks like some weird fingers there. It's a pretty wild one there.
Well, you look at it and you're like, how would they carve it so well to the point where it looks like this?
Oh, man, look at that. I mean, I don't know, people. Now we're getting into rock porn here, apparently. Sorry, everybody. Oh. Oh, man.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow. Ooh,
come
look
on
at that
now.
granite formation. Yeah.
That was sexy.
Is that
There you
stalactite there, or are you just happy to see me? Yeah.
Well, we'll end the show with that joke. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching, and I hope we got you thinking about some things. And, it's just a different perspective on stuff. I'm not saying I believe any of this stuff, just so you know that. I'm just throwing it out there. It's information that's just coming to light, and, take it for what you will.
That's really cool right there.
And I don't mean to offend anybody's religions or anything like that. So
I'll tell you all right now, if any of your religions were offended, look, I'm Mormon and I still work with this guy. He never offends my religion.
Right. Well, the Catholic Church is what we said about them, that they could have been maybe not, created for not quite what we thought they were, that there may have been more metaphysical or esoterical reasons, or more even not very Christian things, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Leaving your body and your spirit and things like that. That's not all part of Christianity, I mean, so those buildings, almost some of them had Gothic, more, demonic symbols on them than they did, Christian symbols. Some of the weird designs on them, and some of the early ancient stuff. You look at it and you're just like, there's nothing really like Christian or godly about this place. This looks like, some kind of devil's house, really. If you look at the designs, and they have demons and gargoyles on the outside of them, and makes you wonder, what kind of house of worship was that? Some of them, they redesigned them too. They took some of the designs that were, they called them, Gothic, really, designs.
Right.
And they redesigned some of these churches too, because they had these Gothic, themes to them that weren't very Christian or Catholic at all. So it's funny how they redid some of these churches. So pretty wild.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good night. Take care. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next Sunday.
Take it easy, everybody.
Peace out.
Stay away from my pirate gold. Quit bringing that picture up. So
there it is.
Yep. That is so. I want that in my backyard.
We're gonna end the show on that one. That was a pretty awesome one. I mean, that looks pretty much like a dinosaur head to me. I don't know about you guys, but looks like a frozen rock-shaped dinosaur head.
I think it's not a fossil. That's the thing. It's way too perfectly shaped.
Yeah. That may have just been some crazy magic that we didn't understand. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just a stupid rock. See you guys later.
See you guys.